Oh, welcome to the Sharpe Show. So happy to have you with me this evening, a little bit past 7 p.m. on the East Coast. Today, I'm doing an AMA because tomorrow I am doing the Sharpe Club with a bunch of people coming up here talking and yapping about stuff. It should be fun. I hope it will be fun. So watch tomorrow, 8 p.m. here on Sharpe Properties. Please do that if you could till today, because I don't have that. Usually when I have Sharpe Club, I struggle to get all of the comments because I have 3 guests on the show, so it becomes challenging. So I try to do an AMA either the day before or the day after, so all your comments can come rushing in so I can take as many comments as possible. One of the things I do, sadly for whatever reason, but that's what I do. Also, Saturday, we're having a Larry-thon. What does that mean? We head over to Larry Sharpe Properties and my governor run. I'll be talking about my governor run on Saturday from 2 to 6 p.m. So I will be over there doing Larry-thon 2 to 6 p.m. on Saturday. That'll be on Larry Sharpe Properties, not on Sharpe Properties. So I won't be doing a show here on Saturday night. And tomorrow at 8 p.m., I'm doing the Sharpe Club, which will be here. So today you get AMA. See how good I am? I don't know if I'm that good. Anyway, I act like I'm good. If you know what is going to be good, and you know it's going to be Lima, India, Kilo, Echo. You know the one to press. That is the button. Do so. Do it now so that people see it. Why aren't you clicking it? What's wrong with you? Why do you hate me? Click that button. Click it so people can notice it. Repost this. Share this someplace now. It does matter. If you have not subscribed to whatever channel or page you're watching, I don't know why you hate the children. Stop hating the children. Hit the subscribe button or the share button or the whatever. What are the buttons? Click them. What's wrong with you? Do so now. You can do so. It's easy. Please do so. All right. AMA. As always, I begin the AMA with something I was thinking about. What was I thinking about? The shutdown. The government shutdown, which it seems like almost nobody seems to care. But I think soon, boy, are people going to start to care. Because now dollars and cents are starting to change. So we're going to start changing. Who is going to be blamed? And I thought, let me show a couple of these things in order, because I was worried for you Trump supporters that the American people might blame Trump for this. And if they do, he's going to be in trouble if they blame him for this, right? The question is, are they? At the moment, it seems like no. I think if you're a Trump supporter now, you might be like, wait a minute, this is going well for me. If you're not a Trump supporter, you might be unhappy right now. I'm not really sure. So we'll see. Let me show you, though, what I can see right now. This is from a couple of weeks ago. And I'm going to walk down a couple of weeks. This one's from about 4 weeks ago, and I'm going to walk down 2 of them. They're short. So you'll see what was going on with each one of them when it comes to polling and when it comes to the shutdown.
Chuck Schumer saying that the American people are with Democrats it comes to opposing Donald Trump's big, beautiful bill. But where are Americans in terms of how they feel about?
See, Chuck Schumer said it, Mike. Must be true. He would never lie to us, would he?
This shutdown right now. CNN's Harry Anton is running the numbers on this. What are you seeing?
Yeah, what
4
are we
weeks ago.
seeing? This is an American public that more so than ever before I've looked at the polling is willing to go to a shutdown. What are we talking about here?
Okay.
Well, let's take a look. What Americans wanted pre-shutdown? Well, traditionally speaking, I got the 2013 numbers. The majority of Americans want compromise.
This is true. Usually, Americans don't want a shutdown. Usually, in the past, he's correct, Americans want some kind of compromise, forget principles, keep the government open. That has been the norm. Not this time.
Shutdown. You go back to 2013, just 33% said stand on principle, even if it means a shutdown. Come to this side of the screen, we see an even split, right? 50% of Americans say they want a compromise, no shutdown. But up like a rocket, standing on principle, we see now 49% base.
That's a big deal for several reasons. Number one, it shows that Americans are just tired of the system. That's a critical piece. They're like, I want something to change. If I got to pay a price, I'll pay it. People now are okay paying the price. Isn't that weird? They're okay paying the price. Like, no, it's fine. Let it shut down. I'll pay a price. Something's got to change. That was not true in the past. Well, not to the same level, I should say. I'm exaggerating. That wasn't true to the same level as it is today.
Basically an even split on Americans either wanting a shutdown or, in fact, saying they want their side to stand on principle. I think we're hearing a lot of that from Chuck Schumer.
Which group has...
And now that, off the bat, doesn't necessarily mean that it's pro-Democrat or Republican. That could be either way, but we're going to see what it actually means. Again, this is 4 weeks ago. I'm going to keep going.
Shifted the most in terms of compromise or not?
You know, it was so interesting to hear those clips of Chuck Schumer being played back from 2013, from all those past shutdowns.
And just from March, right?
Potential shutdowns. And what has changed significantly is Republicans have always been willing to basically say, you know, we should shut down the government and stand on principle. That's true. But now Democrats, a significantly larger portion of Democrats say, you know what, let's stand on principle. What Democrats want a pre-shutdown.
Bingo.
You go back to 2013, just 18% of Democrats said stand on principle. The vast majority, 76%, 3 in 4 Democrats said
look at that difference. That's a big difference. So this is partially Democrats. This is partially Democrats.
Compromise, no shutdown. Look at this side of the screen. Look at this percentage that said stand on principle back in 2013. It was 18%. Now it's 47%, more than double. In fact, nearly triple the percentage of Democrats now say stand on principle as compared to 2013. We see a much more even split among Democrats. The 52% who say compromise, no shutdown. The 47% who say stand on principle within the margin of error of each other.
So it isn't just that. Be clear. It isn't just that, oh, it's because Trump's winning. Well, again, this is 4 weeks ago. We're going to keep going. At 4 weeks ago, there were a lot of Democrats going, I don't care. We have to fight Trump. This goes back to the other piece. You have a bunch of Democrats who are saying, we have to somehow fight. We're getting our butts kicked. We're not doing, the Democratic Party is getting its butt kicked. It's true. So they're like, no, we're going to stand there, we're going to fight someplace. Now, if I was Democrat, I'd have fought someplace before this. This is not the hill I would have chosen to die on, but Democrats have decided this is the hill they want to die on.
What we're seeing is a Democratic Party that is much more so than ever before saying, you know what, let's shut down the government, even if it means no compromise, so that we can stand on principle.
A big question now that it is shut down is how long is this going to last? We keep making the comparison to the longest shutdown, which was in 2018. What's your reference point on how long you say it is going to last?
Yeah, I think that's exactly right. You look at these numbers, right? You see that 18 to 47%.
Right.
You see this 33% to 49% stand on principle, and you hit at it, Kate Baldwin. The longest shutdown on record was 35 days back in 2018 to 2019, and we're seeing now a Democratic Party that's much more likely to dig in, and you have that Republican Party that has pretty much always been over the last decade very likely to dig in. I think this is a pretty good reference point. I wouldn't be surprised if we reach this record or go even further. Of course, time.
So I just want to show that piece for a second. So yeah, that piece is important, but that was 4 weeks ago. So let me go to the next one. And this one is a little over a week ago, and this is from the Young Turks. So things are changing a bit here. So I'm going to go left and kind of right. So I'm gonna do both. So don't get mad if you're a lefty and I do you, and then I'll do the righties too. So here we go. All right. This one is a Young Turk, so this is obviously more left-leaning.
You know, we speak about Donald Trump shutdowns, net approval rating. We're talking 20 days into it. In 2018/2019, Donald Trump's net approval rating was already falling. The shutdown was eating into his popular support. It was down 3 points already at this particular point and would fall considerably more. It was very much on the decline. You come over to this side of the screen, this shutdown hasn't eaten into Donald Trump's support at all. His net approval rating is actually up a point.
This makes Mike right. Mike was saying this. Mike, you're right. Early on, it wasn't sure. Looks like Mike's right. We're going to keep going now. But yes, it looks like Mike's right now.
The first shutdown during Trump's first term, 2018-2019, was hurting Donald Trump. This one is not hurting him at all. There's no real reason Donald Trump might say, at least when it comes to popular support, I want to get out of this shutdown.
Yeah, why would he? Yes, absolutely. Pete Clark has the most important thing. But Larry, if the government's shut down, why are we all paying taxes? Pete, you actually answered your own question with one of your earlier posts. 38 trillion. $78,544,144,158.23, which is our national debt, and since posted is now even higher. So there's always that. That's the reason why. Someone has to somehow buffer our national debt so it isn't gives us to survive a little bit longer. That's us.
So it turns out the government shutdown, which has been taking place for 21 days as of today, it's actually not hurting Trump politically. His poll numbers indicate that he's not falling, but rising in approval.
She's being funny.
Just wanted to put that out there.
She's being funny.
Now let me just get my stool back. Okay, but in all seriousness, the government shutdown is ongoing, right? And now
Now, you might say, well, that's because Democrats don't blame Trump for this, or Republicans don't blame Trump for this. Oh, but Jake is savvy. He's savvy. He got an answer for you, Mike. He got an answer for you. Here's why.
Democrats are a little bit concerned.
He's got an answer for you.
That they're going to be blamed for it, even though, I mean, look, there's truth to that, right? They are holding out for an extension on the Affordable Care Act subsidies, so the healthcare premiums of Americans.
So she says there's some truth to it.
Don't
Okay.
double. And I think that is a worthy cause. The Republican Party appears to be immovable on this issue. They don't care about the Affordable Care Act. And honestly, if the premiums do double, it will hurt Republicans politically.
Now, I'm not sure that's true. Maybe, right? I think she may be counting her chickens before they hatched. This politics is about marketing, like there's no tomorrow. So if premiums do double, and they're gonna go up like no tomorrow, that's no matter what we do, premiums are gonna shoot up because Obamacare doesn't work, right? I knew that years ago. Most people knew that. The problem is Republicans have no plan. They just go, Obamacare sucks. What's your plan? Nothing. I just want to yell, Obamacare sucks. And they're not wrong. But again, as you keep hearing me say, no answer, bad answer. We take the bad answer. And the bad answer is Obamacare. But it's an answer. It's just a bad one. It doesn't work. It has to have a gazillion subsidies for it to work. It makes things bad. And you're going to find out that's what's going to happen coming up here. So when that happens, the question is, do American people, when literally hundreds of thousands of families are going to go uninsured, that's going to happen because they're going to look at it and go, I can drop $20,000 a year on insurance or gamble that I won't spend more than $20,000 on healthcare this year. And a lot of families are going to go, I'm going to gamble because I can't drop 20 grand and not use it. I'll just hope I'm healthy. Now that sounds terrible. I'm not saying that's a good idea. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that's going to happen. When that happens, do Americans blame Trump or do they blame Democrats? She seems to think, oh no, it's Trump. Maybe, but that's counting some chickens before they hatched. I don't know. With the right spin, they could easily blame the Democrats for this, right? Oh, you never fixed Obamacare. It's Obamacare's fault. You shut the government down, blah, blah, blah. I don't see it so easy as what I'm saying. I think it can go either way.
We just don't want it to get to that because Americans are going to suffer, right? So we're going to get to all of the fears that Democrats have in terms of their strategy in just a minute. But any initial thoughts, Cenk?
Yeah, so I think that was a little misleading. So
see, it's misleading, Mike. Okay? Misleading. He's going to tell you why it's misleading.
There's so many things going on now.
See,
so it's not like, oh, the government shut down and Trump is becoming more popular. He did a theoretical peace deal that helped him tremendously.
See, he did a peace deal, Mike. That's why people like him on the government shutdown. You're saying to yourself, doesn't make any sense. It doesn't, but in Cenk's mind, it does.
Right? Now, we think it's not a real peace deal, but it was a good effort, and certainly it was well received by the country. So you got to take that into account. You can't just say, oh, the numbers are moving.
Okay, that's Democratic cope. Republicans cope too, but that's Democratic. That's Democratic cope. That's what that is. No. People right now, whatever Trump has done, in this case, he's done a very good job of promoting it to where it's not his fault. And it's obvious a lot of Americans are believing him. They're not believing Democrats. That's how that's working. He's marketing it better. Whether you like or hate Trump, the guy's a marketer. Now, here I'm going more towards right. This is Robbie Sauvé, who is happy as can be. He is almost giddy on this one. So let's see how he thinks.
Republicans are winning the shutdown, and even CNN has to admit it. We turn now to my favorite pollster, Harry Enton, who has some shocking news for his colleagues at the network. Take a look.
If anything, it's been helped a little bit. Take a look here, the shift in net.
And this now is the most recent one. So we went to neutral 4 weeks ago, to +1 about a week or so ago, to +5. Not looking good for Democrats right now. Not looking good for Democrats right now. Democrats should be, in theory, obviously not in practice. In theory, they should be spanking the Republicans now. They should be, right? Republicans run the government. There's a shutdown. Money isn't getting paid. We got to worry about our troops. Oh, we're so scared about this. So in theory, they should be just rocking them. In theory, right now, Democrats should be spanking Republicans, and they are not. They are not. This is CNN saying this. If CNN had any way of making Republicans look bad, they'd be doing it.
Popularity versus pre-shutdown. When we're looking at the Republican Party overall, that brand actually up 2 points. That's within the margin of error, but clearly it hasn't dropped. Come over to this side of the screen. Look at the net approval ratings for Republicans in Congress. It's actually up 5 points since pre-shutdown. So what we're seeing here is the Republican brand in Congress has actually improved somewhat compared to where we were pre-shutdown, despite the fact that Republicans control.
Yep.
And that's
the odd part. That wasn't the norm. Now it is. Now it is. If this was 10, 15 years ago, this would not be happening, right? We're in a different culture now.
the math that John Thune and Mike Johnson are looking at.
That's right. GOP poll numbers are actually up. How the Republicans are choosing to handle the shutdown is resonating with voters. Not just their own voters, but also independents. Let's watch a little bit more.
Being the base for sure. Look at this. The net approval rating up 12 points versus pre-shutdown. But it's not just with the base. It's also with the middle of the electorate. Look at this. Among independents, it's up 8 points as well. So we've got a situation here where Republicans with the shutdown are actually rallying their base, but it's also something that's not hurting them with the folks in the middle. If anything, it's helping them with folks in the middle. And this is the type of math that if you're Republicans, you like to see, right? Because something could rally the base but alienate those in the middle, or something could rally those in the middle but alienate.
Now, to be clear, you notice it's not as big with independents. He is losing a little overall, Trump is, with independents. But the funny part is, this is the part where he puts GOP, right, and Congress. He's not talking about Trump in this case. Trump is starting to lose some with independents. That is happening. But the weird part is, Congress isn't. That is odd, too. That is also very odd.
Alienate the base, but the truth is we're not seeing that.
Yes. Republican voters, the MAGA base, they're excited that the party is sticking to its guns, and independents are also rewarding them for it. Well, I think that's very telling. GOP voters do not want feckless establishment leadership to succumb to Democrats' efforts at a...
But he just brought the point up. Establishment. This is the common thread. This is the common thread. Americans are against the establishment. That's all I want to bring up to get this thing started. I'm happy to take Q&A, questions, and AMA, but I just thought it'd be interesting to see how that was going on to get things started. Let me grab a couple of comments as we move down this road if we could. So, all righty. Let's see here. Let's see. DOP1C says, greetings, Larry. Supporters showed up for you today in the comments of Rising Peace, a New York governor's race. Yes, for those of you who didn't know, there was a recent poll put together by the Republican mouthpiece known as the Manhattan Institute, and they put a poll up. Why they do a poll? Because they know that I'm running, they know that I have impact, and they know their gal, at least Stefana, cannot win. So they made a bogus poll to make it look like she could win. Now, what did they do? If you look at that polling, they showed Lee Stefanik and Kathy Hochul and other in gold. Where did they pick gold? Other in gold, and they're undecided. If it was just to find out, if just for marketing only, they would have just done Stefanik and Hochul and undecided. That's how polls are run when they just want to show that. But this also wanted to be internal. They wanted to know how much the other was doing. Who's the other? You're looking at him. You're listening to him. No one else is running. So other is me. Now, is other all me? Could someone like put in Mickey Mouse or something? Sure, of course. So other came in at 9%. At least 7 or 8% of that's me. I was pulling at 6% back in 2022. So they didn't want to put my name. They put other, but that was me. And people went to that rising piece on it and they put, no, it's Larry Sharpe, as you should have. Thank you. If you guys want to, please head on over to The Hills Rising right now and comment on that piece and put other is Larry Sharpe. What about Larry Sharpe? That would be nice. Thank you for that. Many did show up. Some of you saw that. I appreciate that tremendously. Thank you very much. Yes, absolutely. Okay, so good. Covers that piece. Craig says, oh, that's talking to someone else. That was not talking to me then. All right, let's see here. Looks like Les is, wow, that's a lot. Les is smiling, trying. I think that's right. Okay, you got me going. I'm going to say Les. That's what I'm going to call you. The Overton window has been moved forward. Insurance companies now not being able to deny coverage for pre-existing conditions was a huge win for healthcare. That part's true, but they didn't fix the rest. I'm with you. You if you're going to have a system that supports Americans, you're going to have a system that somehow does not exclude pre-existing conditions. True. That wasn't a bad thing, but that wasn't enough. So, yeah. All righty. John says, if Trump's building the ballroom so he can get squatters' rights for fixing up the place he's renting. That's cute. He wants squatters' rights. I like that. He'll stay there forever. So, yeah. All righty. Adirondack says, ACA was designed to make costs so high they can swoop with universal health care to save us all. You know, when people first said that, I didn't think that was true. I thought this had to be some kind of broken compromise like most government programs are. But part of me says it might be true. I didn't think that initially, right? When it first came out, I was like, I heard people say that. I didn't really believe it. Now I'm thinking, maybe. I'm now open to that when I wasn't in the past, right? So, yeah. All righty. Let me grab some of these here. Mike says, it's amazing how many heard what Trump said about nuke tests if when Russia or China do it and thought it meant U.S. is doing testing now unilaterally. Fear-mongering. It's amazing how many heard what Trump said about nuke testing if when Russia or China do it and thought it means U.S. is doing testing now unilaterally. Fear-mongering. I'm not sure what that means, but I don't mind if we do testing. I'm not sure what that means. Yeah. Maybe that's someone else. Joey says, still with you, Larry. Thank you, my friend. Joey, I appreciate that. Yes, I do appreciate that. Mike says, told you it wouldn't happen. You did. Oh, look, when you're right, you're right. You ain't always right. But when you're right, you're right. Absolutely. Yes, absolutely. So Pete says, Republicans control the presidency, House, Senate. They should be slamming the Overton window right, forcing them to debate 1%, 2% spending cuts. So they're piling onto Biden-level spending. That's a valid point. That's a valid point. They should be doing better. But again, it's my earliest point. They're not trying to fix things. Andrea says, Larry, Joel Salatin was on Allison Monroe. I love both of them. I just spoke to Allison yesterday. He was talking about food emancipation. Thought it was along the same line as food freedom movement. Joel Salatin's actually talking. He's speaking at the Libertarian Party convention next year. So, yeah, he's kind of on board with us. So, okay. Oh, thank you, Cage. Says $5. Thank you. Is there a vid that covers your policies, experience, etc., that we could post everywhere? Just you talking to the camera. If not, could you make one? The problem that I have with that is I have too much content. There's so many things that we have to talk about. It's challenging for me to do. So do we have videos? Yes. We're going to have a bunch more popping up now on the Larry Sharpe website, which will be individual videos for individual policies and issues. The problem is I can speak forever on issues. If you know, I think I told you this, you can hit, you go to my Larry Sharpe Larry Sharpe YouTube page and type in 8 hours, and you will see I spoke for 8 hours straight on policies to fix New York State. It was 3 years ago, but still true. 8 hours straight. It's all time stamped. I didn't take a bathroom break or a food break. That is how passionate I'm about New York. That's the best place to find it. Otherwise, go to the Larry Sharpe page and you will see YouTube page. You'll see short videos are coming out constantly on little things. Grab the one that makes the most sense to you. I wish I had a better answer. There's so much broken. So yeah, that's the piece. All righty. Jan has reposted this. Thank you. I appreciate that. All right. Mike says, if Dems were smart, they'd have their billionaires, Oprah, Mark Cuban, Bill Gates, etc., donate for SNAP benefits. They will never do that because they don't care and want to help illegals only. Not a bad point. Not a bad point. Yeah. Craig says, Trump hates the Affordable Care Act. He does, but not because it doesn't work, because it has Obama's name after it. He's a vindictive POS. He is petty, and you are right. That's true. You're not wrong. Yes, it's absolutely true. All right, I think I grabbed a bunch of those. Let me walk down some other things that are off of that, since I think we're kind of done that piece. So Philip says, Larry, how do you feel about Thomas Massie? Love Thomas Massie. Met him more than once. On board totally. I think he is a principled Republican. He is the most libertarian congressperson that we have. I would support him in anything he does. I stand behind him, even though Republicans get mad at him and get mad at me when I support him. Doesn't matter. I support him completely. Yes, completely. Gibbs says, do you think Libertarian Party and Independent Party will become the two major parties within 5 years, replacing Democratic Republican Party? No. I wish they would. I'll say it slowly. Do you think the Libertarian Party and the Independent Party will become the two major parties within 5 years, replacing Democratic and Republican parties? No, at all. There is a chance, ever small. The only chance is that either Libertarian Party or an Independent Party will actually exist and have impact in 5 years. That could be true. I think there's a chance of that, like really having impact, meaning people are very worried what the Libertarians or the Independent or some of the Independent Party, the We the People Party, or I think that could happen. That's a thing that could happen where people are very concerned. Oh my God, they're the spoilers. They can change the system. That could happen. That's possible. But to replace both parties in 5 years, I can't see it. Could it happen at one point? Yes, it could. But we're talking very far down the road, and one of the parties would have to really implode horribly. Could it happen in the distant future? One of them, yes. But for both Democratic and Republican Party to be replaced, I can't see that in my lifetime. I mean, maybe, but I can't see it in my lifetime, and not in 5 years. Could a third party become popular enough to really impact the nation and states in 5 years? That's possible. That could happen. Right? So like maybe you get an independent party like, I don't know, wins a governorship, or maybe wins a couple Senate seats, or wins a couple congressional seats. That's possible. That could happen. Yes, I think that's possible. I don't think replacing at all. That's just my view. So Isaac says, what are your thoughts on the SNAP assistance and what should be done with this issue with the government shutdown? The reality of it is, this is our wake-up call, Isaac. We can't feed our people. We can't run our schools. We can't fix our roads. We can't survive without government assistance, the states. That's a problem. This needs to be our wake-up call to fix our states the way we don't need it. I don't want people to starve. Of course not. Of course not. But I don't want us being dependent forever. This should be our wake-up call. Now, right now, what do? You find an answer to get them some cash in some way. Maybe Mike is right. We ask the billionaires to help out. Whatever, right? We do that, right? And maybe we do. Maybe we make a donation for that, make it tax deductible, something to help out the SNAP people until we get this worked out. That's possible, but it has to be changed. You can't just give the money and not make a change, because then we've learned nothing. We're going to be here again in a year or two, and that's not good. So, yeah. All righty. Adirak says, mention of Larry is starting to get some hate replies. Yes. This is a net positive according to Larry. We're making progress. True. I'm not mad about that. People are talking about Larry. Yes. I do not mind that guy's dumb. He's a spoiler. He's terrible. I don't mind that shit at all. I signed up for this. I do not mind that at all. Totally fine. If people are yelling, call me names, whatever, it's totally fine. They can do it. I don't mind. That's all good. So, Chris Zelensky, he says, AMA, if the body, LPNY, decides you will commit to petitioning the Libertarian ballot line in New York when they choose to nominate me as Lieutenant Governor, you'll get my 3 votes for the government nod. Think of the masses we can look at. No, Chris, you're an asshole. I'm not, no. And not to me, I don't care. I got you here. But you're bad. You literally go online and you troll people who are not public figures like me. You punish people. You're mean. You are a mean asshole. So no, but not because of me. I don't give a shit. I'm happy you're here. Be here and put stuff up and go on my stuff. Engagement's awesome for me. I don't give a shit what you think. So you can attack me all day, but you do it to others. You push people out of the LPNY. You were the reason people left. You were a major reason why people were broken in the LPNY. A lot of that shit was your fault. So why would I want to bring you back in? So you can wreck the Libertarian Party in New York again? Stay on my page, yell about me, call me names, whatever. Do that shit. You spent 5 minutes yelling at me, yell at me. It's fine. But no, I'm not letting you wreck LPNY again. That's my mistake for letting your stupid ass in the first place. That's my mistake. No. So to answer your question, no. But stay here and call me names. It's fine. Adirang says, sorry, folks, the government's closed. The moose out front should have told you. That's actually cute. I like that one. That's cute. So, all righty. Craig says, the system is designed to force negotiation unless one party is supermajority. I'm not sure that's true. Maybe it was designed for that, Craig, and if it was, it has failed tremendously. We are at a point where all we do is yell at each other. So if that's how it was designed, it has failed tremendously. I'm not sure it was designed for that. I'm not sure it was. So Adirondack says, they keep saying 42 million people on benefits. They should be working on lowering that terrible statistic. Yes. If you guys saw the show last night, Lars Mapstead was on a show with me. And he said there are 100 million people who are in America who are somehow getting a check from the government right now, whether that's Social Security or benefits or something. That's a lot of people getting a check, right? Do we blame all of them? No, we should be working, your point, on lowering that number. Now, are all 100 million of them, reliant upon it? No, not all are. Some are getting it as a benefit they received or as a pension or something, and they may or may not be reliant on it. But a lot of people are reliant. I bet 42 million is probably the people who are actually reliant. I would guess half, maybe. I don't know. That's a guess. Maybe some seniors are also reliant upon it. We need to create an environment to where people are not reliant. You will always have some people who will be reliant. You want to make sure that we have as few as possible. You are totally correct, Adirondack. We want to be lowering that number. This should be a wake-up call for us to fix it. And it's an embarrassment that is true. So yes. All right. Let's see here. John says, I blame them all, but that's just me being a pessimist. No, that means you're real. It's true. It's true. So the HVAC soldier says, that's to Adirondack. With Trump, anything is possible. I think Trump is trying to gerrymander the House because he's planning on limited suspension of the 2020 election. Cities under guard control. Those areas of the 2020 election will be suspended. Red areas will be able to vote. I've heard this before. I don't think it's true. And hear me out. For those of you who, think Trump's going to take over the world and whatever. The reason why I don't think it's true is because they told us, the Democrats did, that if Trump wins, there will be no more elections. Remember that? More than once. No more elections. He's going to cancel elections. There's one happening next week. We're working on one coming in 2026. Was he only going to cancel the 2028 election? Now, if that's true, if you're right, why is Steve Bannon coming up with an actual plan to make it legal, yes, I'm using air quotes, for him to run for a third term? And I'm not making it up. Bannon said so. That's not me making it up. Bannon said he's going to find a legal way. He said that to make Trump run for a third term, whether he's going to change the Constitution or whatever plan he has. If they're just going to suspend it, well, then what's Bannon got to do anything? He don't do anything. They'll just suspend it and he'll become president or whatever, for life or whatever. I think this is propaganda. I don't think it's true. I think it's propaganda. I don't think it's true. Mother Nature says, Larry Sharpe for government 2026. Yes. Rick says, since it's an AMA, any keto experience with easily injured mouth or tongue blood blisters from food texture, starting on B12 and folate, even though my diet should give these. Yeah. Yes. I have that same thing. I get blood blisters sometimes. Yes. Sometimes when same thing inside my mouth, I get the same thing. Yeah. I do it sometimes. Yeah. It does happen. It is part from the food texture. It does happen. Every once in a while you get them. It's true. It's true. And it usually happens when I get so busy, I forgot taking my vitamins. I have a battery of vitamins that I often take. But sometimes I get so crazy, I don't have a chance to put them together and then take them. And whenever it happens, blood blister. So yes, I have the same problem. I'm with you. And generally speaking, it's when I'm not taking my vitamins. So yeah, I hate having problems that doctor and dentist are close about. Yeah, most people aren't on keto. Most people are not on keto. Most doctors don't know about it. In fact, I think I told you, statistically, keto is unsustainable. Most people cannot stay on keto. So most doctors will tell you it's unsustainable and they don't pay attention to it. That's true. Vivek says, could you talk about Argentina? The bailout they received from the United States in the recent election. Sure. People are mad at Argentina for the $20 million bailout. I get it. I'm not mad at the bailout. Let me be clear what I'm saying. I don't want America bailing anybody out, but we do all the time. We bail out New York for $20 million every year, $20 billion every year. I'm not joking. New York State gets a $20 billion bailout every year. So does Argentina. Now, of course, Argentinians aren't Americans. I get the difference. I do. But Argentina is still a success story. You might go, how can it be a success story, Larry, if they had to have a $20 billion bailout? I'm happy to tell you that. Because they're broken for decades. They cannot fix their country without some kind of bailout. I'm not saying we should give it. I'm not saying that. But I'm saying they will need it from somebody, and Trump decided it to be that. We give billions upon billions of dollars to lots of countries throughout the world. I would like all of them to end, including Argentina. I would like us to give nobody extra money, but we do in droves. Of all the monies we gave out, that's the best one. That's the best one of all of them. Now, if I could get rid of all of them, I'd get rid of all of them, including that one. I don't want us bailing out anybody. But of all the bailouts we've done, that's the best one. How do I know that? Because they still have an actual democracy in Argentina right now. And guess who just won? Milei did. Because people are seeing that even though his system is by no means perfect, and he has made errors, and people have suffered, they can see something that we don't see. Positive change. The Argentinians see it. They see positive change. We don't see that. That's why we have a government shutdown. So Milei needed a bailout, got caught in a crypto scam. True. Still won by a landslide. Still in charge. Still runs Congress. Yes. And one of the reasons why is because he communicated well. What I've been saying, and some of you Trump supporters are mad at me when I say it, but it's true. Trump did not communicate this year well at all. His communication was garbage. He far overpromised and underdelivered. Milei did the opposite. Milei underpromised and relatively overdelivered. He was like, this year's going to suck, guys. It's going to suck, but in the long run, it'll be better. And what happened? 30% reduction in rent. What? Rent went down 30%? Yep. A massive reduction in inflation. Still inflation. Massive reduction in inflation. Huh. The peso still exists. They did not have to default, which has happened 9 times in the past 20 years or something. They didn't have to. Their currency exists and didn't have to default. Look at that. In Argentina, that's a win. So he's killing it. Relatively, obviously, right? So people see it. So yes, he needed a bailout, and I wish we didn't do it. But of all the bailouts we've done, the best one to be done. And so we got a bailout. And people are going to be, it didn't work because he got bailed out. New York State gets bailed out. We get $20 billion bailout every single year. And there's half of the amount of New Yorkers that are Argentinians, and we get the same amount of money. And our state sucks. And people are leaving my state. They ain't leaving Argentina. They're still going to Argentina. Argentina is getting better. People are going there. Inflation is going down. in New York State, inflation going up. Not just that, rent's going up. How do I know? Mom Donnie wants to put them down. Rent's going up, people leaving the state, and we got a $20 billion bailout. So I'm fine with it. So yes. Rick, $10 says, grateful for you. Thanks. Oh, thank you, Rick. I appreciate that. Yes, I appreciate that. Yes. Look, keto is tough. It is, for most people, unsustainable. It's hard. If any of you tried keto, I mean, it is a limiting lifestyle. It is a limiting diet. It is. I like it because I like the limiting piece of it. I think it makes me disciplined. I like having to be disciplined. I like having to go through all that. I do. Most people don't. Look, do I miss bread? Kinda. More before than ever. Now, not so much anymore. It's been 15 years for me now. So it's not that big of a deal for me anymore. But did I miss bread? I still love bread. I still love soda and pizza. I love that stuff. I don't eat it anymore. I don't eat pizza. I do once in a while, what I call break here or there. Like if it's my daughter's birthday and she wants to have something. But both my daughters now are keto. My household's keto. I have a keto household. There's no white rice in my house. There's no potatoes in my house. There's no bread. There's keto bread. We have some keto products because my daughters aren't as hardcore as I am. I don't even have keto products. Like I don't even have like cauliflower rice or keto bread or heavily fibered and proteined up spaghetti. You can have keto products and it will work. Now, if you're looking just to stay in ketosis, those products are fine. If you're looking to lose weight, those products are not great because they are high in calories. So those products, if you're looking to maintain weight, that's your lifestyle. Like my daughters and I, we don't eat regular pasta. We only eat keto pasta now. We don't eat regular bread. We only eat keto bread now. Or we don't eat any. Like I usually don't eat any of it. But if they do, they eat that only. So yeah, it is a lifestyle change. It's not easy and it can be expensive. But I tell you guys, I have decided, and Rick, I think you're in the same boat as me. I've decided that my health and my food is my priority. So I don't have a fancy watch. I don't have a fancy car. I don't buy fancy clothes. I spend money on food. A lot. I spend money on food. That's what I spend money on. I have the best food that I can afford. Everything else is secondary to me. That's just my view. You do you. So I'm glad you're here. Thank you. And by the way, keto is magic. Just so you know, keto is magic. So yes. All right. Let me walk down here. I have so many things I want to grab. I'm going to grab some more from the back if I can to make sure I grab as many people as I possibly can on this lovely AMA. All righty. Covered that one and that one. All right. Phil says, that's good. I feel like the attack on Massey from both sides is even more reason to love the guy. Hope he runs for bigger role within government. I don't think he will. I'm with you. I hope he will too. I don't think he will. The problem is if he leaves his seat, the odds of him going someplace are slim. He will need mainstream support from either Republicans or Democrats, and he doesn't have it. So I don't think he'll do it. Do I hope he will? Yes. Look, be very forward. If Massey decides to run for president, I'm behind him. If any Massey people happen to be watching, I'm in. He runs for president. What do you need? You need a communications director. You need a VP. You need a secretary, communications secretary. I'm in. Yes, yes, yes. You need a surrogate in the press. I am in. Yes, 100%. 100%. John Hancock for Congress. How are you, sir? Tons of LP-minded people and conversations I have with my day-to-day people. Co-workers, barbers, and just people liking my LP bumper sticker in a solid blue progressive suburb. Nice. Liberty says, sorry I'm late. I was posting the YouTube link for the Black Powder podcast that Lara will be on tonight at 9 p.m. ET on all the medias. Yes, I will. For those of you who just don't get enough of me, I appreciate those who don't. Please come on. I'll be on the Black Powder podcast at 9 p.m. So I'll be off for this probably around 8:30 or so. A little bit of a break. Maybe eat some dinner, some keto dinner, and then rush off and do a 9 p.m. Podcast right there. So I will be busy. And then tomorrow morning with donors and more podcasts. And then 8 p.m., the show yet again. So yeah, there we go. All right. Liberty says, oh, yeah, that's getting clipped. Which one? I don't know. Oh, that one. Yeah, I saw some Chris Lensky comments today. He does that. I don't mind. Chris, I hope you still listen. Put your stuff down. You just give me more engagement. So I don't like when you attack other people. Me, I don't care. You know I don't. I think you get off on it. I think Chris enjoys it. I think he's like, yeah, I'm getting Larry, I guess. But please come. Every time you come on, I put your stuff here. Get more. I'm all good. So yes. Jacqueline's watching. How are you, my dear? I would also like to take a look at what Larry did during the correctional officer strike. He did more than Kathy Hochul ever did. And I know that will resonate with voters in New York. Oh, it's true. I went to the prisons and I visited them on the lines. I did. Took some pictures, talked about it, did some videos. I've always supported the corrections officers, even when there's been problems. And there's several reasons why. One of them is personal. For those of you who know, my dad was a corrections officer at Rikers Island. So there is a personal piece to it. But the second piece is, I actually care about actual prison reform. I do. I'm not making that up. Why? My mom was a felon. For those who don't know, my mom was a felon. She was an addict and she was a felon. So I've seen both sides of this. But my mom was a felon after my father had passed. So they weren't like, they like meet in prison. That'd been a weird one, right? They did not meet in prison. That's not what happened. That's my new, Jacqueline, that's our new rom-com. He was a corrections officer looking for love. She was an addict trying to find an answer. This summer. Yep. See, it writes itself. It writes itself. Look at that. But no, that's not what happened. So I do know that if you want to repair a system, whatever that system is, the frontline employees, the frontline workers are critical to understand to repair that system. And what we've done in New York State is ignore our corrections officers. We go, we want prison reform. So ask corrections officers. No, to hell with them. They're always wrong. What? We need two important groups. Now you might go, the prisoners. They're important, but they aren't the most important. They're not. I know it sounds crazy. The two most important groups, most important, corrections officers and the families of inmates. We don't talk to either. Those are the most important ones. Why? If I want prison reform, that means I want when people come out of jail to not go back into jail. And when they're in jail, to not be violent in jail and make things worse. Well, in both cases, I require the family members to be able to go there and support them so they don't have that problem, and the corrections officers to be able to differentiate. Because here's the other thing, and I say it all the time, but I'll keep saying it. I know there are three types of people in prison, in every prison. Those who are really bad and should probably never get out. I know there are those that exist. I also know those are there who made a mistake, should do their time, and should have a second chance at life like anybody else. And there are people in prison who should never be in prison, who shouldn't be in at all. The question is, how do you know which ones are which? I don't know. How can I know? Who has the best chance to know? The corrections officers who work with them every day. They have the best chance to know, no, this guy is a monster and he's coming back and he's been here 3 times. Okay, this guy, I don't know. He screwed up. It was time. Go get a second chance. This guy, I don't know why he's here. Those are the types of things we have to understand how we can fix this. And then having families come in to support. So yeah, I do it for several reasons. I actually want prison reform. And 2, my dad was a corrections officer, so I always support them. I do. Thank you for that, Jonathan. I appreciate it. Your mayor says, Larry for governor of New York. Yeah, that's a good idea. Missy says, take the free quizzes at the Advocates for Self-Government, a sponsor of the show. It's free, fast, and a fun way of exploring ways to stand politically. Yes, she is correct. In fact, if you would do me that small favor, if you would head on over to the Advocates by clicking a very specific link. It is the link she has right there. And the link also you will find in the description of Rumble, Facebook, and YouTube. Please click that specific link. Why? If you click that specific link, they will know you came from me, and that matters tremendously, so please do so. Head on over there, and when you head over there, take the World's Smallest Political Quiz. Right there. Quizzes and apps, World's Smallest Political Quiz. Take it. You can see where you stand. Here are the questions they ask. Adults should be free to access books, films, or games without government censorship? Agree, maybe, disagree. Kind of simple, but makes you start thinking. What do I mean by that? Adults should be able to should be free to use drugs or engage in sex work without criminal punishment. Agree, maybe disagree. Now we're having conversations again. Police, you need a warrant before searching your phone, emails, or home. Agree, maybe disagree. As you walk down that road and take all of those pieces, talking through all, and a lot of these are some controversial questions. Hate groups and extremist organizations should be allowed to peacefully gather and organize. Agree, maybe disagree. Each of these should be walking down the road. Medical treatments should be available to consenting adults without legal barriers. Agree, maybe disagree. Think about how you're thinking about this. Have your friends take this test too and look at it and see what makes the most sense. Take this test. Once you're done taking it, at the end, calculate your results, share it. Now, they're going to ask you for your email address. You don't have to give if you don't want to. You can still take it. You get your results anyway. But I'm asking, give them your email anyway. Why? Because you'll get cool libertarian stuff. And I want you to get cool libertarian stuff because that's the right stuff. So please do that. But either way, it's free. Take the test. It's a minute, 2 minutes at max. That I just showed you the entire test. Take it, get your results, and share them. Use the link. Look, they help this page. If you want to help this page, it's free. They're our sponsor. I've been working with them for years. And here's the most important piece. This World's Smallest Political Quiz, I have given it at fairs, tabling events, again and again and again. It works well to get people talking about what they care about, what matters, all those things. This stuff matters. Please have people take it. You take it and share it. Ask your friends to take it. Use the specific link I told you. We'll get more people talking. We'll get more people saying, hey, what do they really think about these things? And the best part, you support the show. Thank you. Thank you for that, Missy. I appreciate it. All righty. John says, I think we should look at creating a legal low bureaucracy, SNAP, continuity, and state flex fund that authorizes automatic, narrowly circumscribed use of federal contingency reserves during fund lapsing with required state reimbursement assistance, empower states and private actors with rapid tax incentive tools to deliver food aid and funds, short-term stability, while accelerating voluntary community-led pathways from dependency to self-sufficiency. I like what you said. I cannot imagine a government doing that. I can't imagine it. Because where do they get paid? How do they grift? Your system might actually work, and they don't want that. I think instead, we have to get localized people to create those types of organizations locally. You can do that. The empowerment part of state and private actors, yes, but you do that at a local level, at a county level, municipality level. You do it there. At that level, you could do it because the community then would decide to push towards self-sufficiency and they want to pay it back. So yes, but not government, local level. Yeah, otherwise I can't see it happening. So, all righty. Noah says, who would you like to see run for lieutenant governor, libertarian candidate for New York as your running mate? You know, I've been thinking about that. I haven't decided who I want yet, but I think I want somebody. I in my perfect world, I'm not sure I can get this, but in my perfect world, I would like to have a unity ticket. It's just not easy to get because if I were to get someone, say, from the Green Party, how do I get that person to believe in enough of what I want to not attack and trash the ticket, be so against things, but be okay with a single issue coalition on certain things, right? Say I get somebody from the Republican Party. How do I get them to not just become Republican, right? And to turn on me and to want to be a Republican, right? So I've got to find the right kind of person who probably isn't 100% libertarian, but is partially libertarian, but could then jump on board and go, yeah, you know what? You're going to give me enough of what I want. I'll be quiet on other things. Now, they don't have to believe in me, and they can even say they don't agree with it. I don't mind that. They can go, you know what? Larry thinks X. I'm not with X. But I can't have them going, Larry's an idiot for X. X is a terrible idea. I'm going to end it. I can't have them on my team doing that, right? People can do it themselves all day long. I'll be attacked all day long anyway. I don't need someone on my team doing that, and that can be challenging. Again, they can not agree and say it publicly. I wouldn't stop them from saying it publicly. But there's a difference between saying, I like Larry, this policy I disagree with, versus going, this is terrible, I'm going to stop it. And people are often righteous that way. So finding that person is going to be challenging. But I'd like to do it in a way that is unity, similar to what Trump did in 2024 with Tulsi Gabbard and RFK Jr. I'd like to create something like that if I could. It's just not easy. Yeah. So, Rick says, my wellness visit report no longer lists type 2 diabetes and hypertension. That's something I have. Congratulations, brother. That is what keto does. Keto is magic. Keto literally reverses diabetes, and you've just seen that. Literally, it reverses diabetes. No, it doesn't. Yes, it does. Reverses diabetes, helps you recover from cancer. I'm not joking. If you think I'm making it up, do your homework. It's absolutely true. It assists in you recovering from cancer. Yes, it does. Keto lowers your visceral fat so that you don't have them, that you have like fatty liver, reverses that. Yes. Heart disease. Yes. Keto is magic. It just is. So, yep. Literally says, Larry would even be Massey's driver. I got that clip. True. You're not wrong. I stand by that. True. I stand by that. Liberty also goes on to say, Larry was on the Jay Scott show today. Larry had great answers. Also true. She got it all going on. Absolutely. Yes. Oh, good. Cage says, hey, just read some good news about New York City. It dropped to 3rd behind LA and Chicago as the rat-infested capital country. I am surprised. We used to have 3 million rats here. I'm not making that up. I am glad. There we go. All righty. Rick says, I can't get any sex work. Must be all those phobes. Yeah, that's the problem. That's the problem. It's all the phobes. That's the issue. Guys, I got to ask you, if you could, please click the button known as like. I know I ask you often. I'm asking you again. Please share this, repost this if you can. I appreciate it if you can do that. Subscribe and or follow or whatever it is, like the page that you're watching this from. It does matter. Tomorrow, I will have a special Sharpe Club at 8 p.m. Do not forget that. 8 p.m. tomorrow, not 7. If you show up at 7, you will be alone. That's fine. You can come in here and hang out. Maybe someone will sit here and comment with you, perhaps. But I won't be here. I won't be here till 8. So if you want to hang out with your friends, come at 7. But I'll be here at 8. And remember something. GovShack is back at 8 p.m. on Monday. That'll be on Larry Sharpe properties only. The Larry-thon this Saturday, Larry Sharpe properties only. And tomorrow's show will be the last show, Sharpe Way show, that will be on Larry Sharpe properties. As of next week, as of Monday, all Sharpe Way shows will only be on Sharpe Way properties, except for Rumble. So it'll be only on Sharpe Way Instagram, Sharpe Way X, Sharpe Way Facebook, Sharpe Way YouTube only. So for those of you who are only subscribed to Larry Sharpe and you love this show, make sure you also subscribe to Sharpe Way and go watch those. I have to split it up. If I don't, I might get myself in trouble with the government. I would rather not be in trouble with them. I mean, I'm gonna anyway, but I'm gonna try not to, if that's all possible. So I would like that. Speaking of that, separating Larry Sharpe from Sharpe Way. This is Sharpe Way, and Sharpe Way has sponsors. You know that. One of those sponsors is you knew it was civil. It always is civil. Yes. And what I'm talking about today is a very special thing. Right now, I'm talking about the shutdown, right? But so are the people on civil right now. There's actually a show, Words and Numbers, is exclusive show that you can get just on civil. And here's the beginnings of it right now so you can see it.
Today on Words and Numbers, hoarding,
perceptions in polling,
football stadia,
and the government shutdown.
All this and more coming up next on Words and Numbers, a Civil original production. Check us out at civil.com. That's CIVL.com.
He's not wrong. It is exactly CIVL.com. But he's not going to tell you. I'm going to tell you this. He's not going to. If you join Civil right now and put in code Larry10, Larry, Larry, being the coolest name on the internet, if you do that now, you get 10% off. You didn't know that, did you? He didn't know it either. That's what you can do. Put in Larry10. You get 10% off, civil.com. You get exclusive shows just like this.
Hi, I'm James. And I'm Anthony. And this is Words and Numbers.
It's Words and Numbers. It says so right there.
It's new and exciting in your world this week, Ant. Come on, tell us something interesting. Tell us something interesting, man. I'm so bored today. Come on.
I love it when I enter an argument with somebody and they end up being the evidence that I was arguing.
Ant, have you been on Twitter again?
I have been.
Now, why do I show you this? Because what you can get on civil is something you don't easily get someplace else, which is real conversation. That's what I bring up all the time. Real conversations. These guys are going to talk about the shutdown. They're going to talk about stadiums. They're going to talk about real stuff and have blatant conversations that you cannot get. There is no conflict machine. There is no left-right screening paradigm. You get real information, real stuff. That's what Civil's about. We are upgrading civilization. Civil.com, CIVL.com. Code Larry10 for 10% off. Support the show. Support Civil. And there are 6 very special We Fix It Wednesdays only on Civil. Join up and check them all out. Thank you, guys. I do appreciate it. All righty. Let me keep going if I could. I still have more people here who are saying things. All righty. Let me grab some more comments if I could. All righty. Lee Presser says, all press is good press. There's some advantage to that. I think you're right. Particularly, Lee brings up a valid point. When you're running as a third party or when you're independent or anything like that, the issue is you're looking for legitimacy, right? That's the key, legitimacy. So even if you get yelled at or insulted or attacked, that makes you real. And now people go, oh, okay, let me figure this out. Let me work on this thing now. Right now, people start caring about it because now they think you're real. Now they think you're real. So now at least we can keep talking about it. I agree completely. Yes. All righty. This here. Everybody says, let's talk about this bogus poll, Larry. Can you bring it up on the screen? Didn't I talk about it already? All right. Do we have another? Hold on. Let me see if I can find it. Didn't we? I thought I already brought it up. Hold on. I thought I brought it up here. Hold on. All right. Let me see if I can get this one up here. I thought I brought this up already. All right. Let me get this up over here because Dee is asking me. So I will do. I will do. All right. This is the updated one. This is the updated poll. Some of you may have seen this before. We updated it. It is updated. There it is. Right. All right. This is Elise Stefanik, Kathy Hochul, and they just put other. If you see, they just put other and undecided. This is what they put. They put Elise Stefanik, Kathy Hochul, other, and undecided. Now, first off, and this is from the Manhattan Institute, does anyone who understands New York State at all believe that Elise Stefanik in New York is beating Kathy Hochul when every single poll before this, she's losing by 15 or 20 points? And what Republicans, this is the new lie Republicans are saying, and I call it a lie. It's a lie. Well, it's because she endorsed Mom Johnny. That's why now everyone's like, she's a communist. Utter bullshit. Mom Donnie's people don't even believe it. And when New Yorkers are upset, they didn't rush to Curtis Sliwa. I wish they did. They went to Mom Donnie. When New Yorkers hate the establishment, they don't go to Republicans. They go to other, in this case, Mom Donnie. Look at New York City right now, sadly, as a microcosm. New York City is 6-1 Democrat Republican. The state's 3-1 Democrat Republican. The Republican is the spoiler. Yes. That's what it is right now in New York State, New York City. The Republican is the spoiler. And you believe this? Are you high? What is wrong with you? And the most important part is why they put other. Most polls have Elise Stefanik, Kathy Hochul, undecided. That's all they give you. They don't give you an option for other. Why would they give you an option for other? Why? And why would it be gold? What a coincidence that is. Because they know that other is me. That's 9%. That's Larry Sharpe right there. You may go, Larry Sharpe is 9%. You can't win. Oh, I'm 9% now. I can only grow. Oh, yeah. That's amazing. This is one of the best things that happened. So thank you, Liberty Lady, for bringing this up. I hope that's what you wanted. That's the poll. You can check it out yourself. And if you see this poll in place, please comment that other equals Larry Sharpe. Please comment other equals Larry Sharpe. I got a lot of people talking about this one, which is great too. A lot of people. I do appreciate that. So, all righty. Thanks. And that was from my Facebook page. Thank you, D. Nate says, farmers don't need government money unless they're growing monocultures and poisoning the soil with pesticides. The market doesn't want that. The market wants wholesome, local grown food and a variety of it. Government regulations and subsidies undermine that. while consolidating the market for big agricultural companies and patent holders on GMOs to profit on the taxpayer's dime. These obstacles to a literal and figurative organic market should be removed completely. Now farmers can only, okay, he doesn't have to keep going on. Every single thing he just said, true. Everything Nate just posted, true. Yes, which is why one of my policies in the past has been, and still is to this day, local farmers who agree to sell locally are immune from all federal regulatory bodies. Why shouldn't you? You are selling only internally. So why should the federal government be involved? They should not be, and they will not be. Grow as you see. You don't need the subsidies if you don't want them. You can take them if you don't want to. Grow locally. Build out your farm as you see fit. If you want to put a retail establishment on it, a wholesale establishment on it, a manufacturing establishment on it, go on with your bad self. Do what you have to do to make your farm work. This way the farmers can profit in a way other than just government subsidies, right? That's the problem. It's crazy that, oh my God, government is making things bad. Always. Always. So thank you for that. I appreciate it. So, all righty. Noah says, will you run for either president or vice president for Libertarian ticket in the 2020 election? The issue here is, as always, sadly, most people who run for Libertarian president or vice president are doing it as a vanity run. Most are. Sadly true. I'm going to show people I can bring the liberty message out or whatever. I want to be my pop, whatever. That's the most common thing. I don't do that. I run only when I think I can make impact. I've only run for three times, and that's for the governor of New York 3 times. That's it. My 3rd time now. Why? I believe I can make impact. 2018, I did. 2022, I did not. I tried. I thought I would, and I failed. But 2018, I did. Hopefully 2026, I will. And I accepted the nod for the vice presidential ticket when I thought the presidential nominee that I was backing was going to follow my idea for how to make impact. The sad part about the Libertarian Party is the way it runs its races, it cannot make impact. Libertarian Party runs a 50 state, all 50 state, blah, blah, blah. Can never work, always fails. We got to stop it, but no one listens. I've been saying this forever, and no one listens. We have to run a very specific type of campaign. If someone believes in that, I'd get behind them. The exception, of course, is Thomas Massie. If Massie runs, I'm behind him. If Massie runs and wants me to VP, I'm in. I don't know if he'd want me to VP. He might have someone else in mind. We're not that close. I know him, but we're not like buddies. Who knows if he'd want me or not? If he wants me, I'm in. If he doesn't, I'm whatever. So if he runs, I would absolutely be the VP. If someone else runs who I think has a chance of getting 5%, I would consider being the VP. I would consider it. So it depends on the situation. So maybe. Hope that answers your question. So, all righty. Ryan says, buy the poll. Yes. And the Manhattan Institute bought the poll. So when you buy the poll, you get your questions in it. That's how that works. When you buy the poll, you get your questions in it. That's the issue. Legal's going to say, press gets you VCP. Visibility, credibility, then positivity, and popularity. Yes. Press and polls work together because many polls are used to gain press or for marketing purposes. So yeah, I think that's absolutely true. Evil Pixie Dance says, Larry, you and Massey will be unstoppable. I agree. Doesn't mean he would agree, right? And if he's top of the ticket, he gets to decide. So yeah, I agree. And the reason is, for those of you who haven't figured this out yet, the vice presidential slot for the Libertarian Party is actually just support staff. And most people don't understand that. They think now's my chance for me to be super cool and blah, 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 right? No, that's the wrong answer. But people get it's support staff. You are there to be a surrogate for the presidential candidate. You are there to help to make things work. You go, wait a minute, Larry, you have to, be able to take over the presidency, blah, blah. No, you don't. I don't mean to be mean. How it actually works. I'm going to give you a little bit of inside baseball on how this actually works. The only way a libertarian in the near future, I mean, I hope this future changes. The near future, the only way a libertarian becomes a president is if they can take away enough electoral votes to where neither the Democrats or Republicans get 270. Now, is that possible? Yes, very challenging, but that could happen. The odds of a libertarian getting 271 electoral votes, I mean, I could win the lottery twice. It could happen. I'm not betting on that. But could a libertarian get enough electoral votes to where no one gets 270? Yes, that could happen. So what would have to happen is neither side gets 270, and then it gets thrown into, 12th Amendment kicks in, it gets thrown into the Congress, and the Congress picks, each state gets one vote. If that were to happen, and if the states were divvied up to where no one had 26 states, again, two things have to happen. The perfect amount of electoral votes to be taken away, so neither side gets 270, and then the physical states have to happen to where no one has 26, and then they decide, all right, fine, we'll take the Libertarian Party guy as a compromise. Now, the top 3 people can get selected from the electoral votes for president, but only the top 2 for vice president. So the problem would happen here is the Libertarian vice president would not become vice president. So there'd be a president that would be Libertarian and a vice president that would be the Democrat Republican. Unless someone just dropped out and just let the Libertarian do it, but why would you? There'd be some kind of deal, right, being made. The Democrats make a deal, Republicans make a deal where, okay, we'll vote for Massey if you give us whatever, Vice President AOC or whatever, right? We'll give you Thomas Massey if you give us, Vice President Marco Rubio or whatever. There'd be some kind of horse trading back and forth. That's the only way a libertarian wins the presidency. Now, I mean, I hope 20 years from now it's different, but now that's how it would have to work. So even if I would run for vice president, I'm not going to be the vice president. Even if I ran for it, even if he became president, I would wind up being whatever support staff required to make that happen. Surrogate in the press, another name to help out, someone to help do things, all that stuff. And then hopefully, if I was loyal and they thought I was talented enough, I'd get something in the cabinet. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe I'd be Secretary of State. Who knows? Something, whatever the case may be. I'll take what I can get. I would literally take communications secretary. I don't care. I'll take anything. Whatever. I'd be fine. So, yeah. Alrighty. Ryan says, Massey and Mosh 2028. Great ticket. I'm in. Great ticket. I'm in. I am with you, my friend. Great ticket. Yes, yes, and yes. Ryan says, no 271 electoral votes for any candidate is the real Operation Chaos, and I would love it. It's the way. It's what I've been talking about. That's the way a libertarian should be running for president. It is the only way we become president is through that. That's the way. I've been talking about this for literally since 2016, so 9 years now. I've been talking about this for 9 years. This is the way to do it. And they just don't listen to me. They don't listen to me. They don't seem to care. They just keep running. We're going to do 50 states and blah, blah, blah. Colossal waste of time, money, and energy, and never works. Look, people said, Larry, why weren't you, all about Chase last year? It's not because I don't like Chase. I like Chase. I think he's a good libertarian. People think he's a bad libertarian. They're wrong. He's a libertarian. He's fine. The problem is he had the same policy, which means the plan wasn't going to work. Same plan Joe Jorgensen had, which wasn't going to work. So I wasn't jumping down about Joe Jorgensen either. Her plan was going to fail too. The plan is a bad plan. It doesn't matter who the candidate is. It's irrelevant. If you take that plan, it's not going to work. I'll give you some inside baseball again. I asked other people in 2024 if they would take this plan. Only Lars Mapstead saw the vision. He saw it. It's like, Larry, you're right. That's the plan. He talked to the RFK people. They were all talking. I was talking when I was helping them out so that they knew the same plan. RFK people had the same plan. We're going to work together, actually. We would take one state, they take another, and we'd break it up and try to get enough electoral votes to make impact. That was the goal before Bobby Kennedy dropped out. That was the plan. We talked about it already. So as we talked about it for that time period, Lars was on board, so I was his VP. I asked the other candidates. I did, Ryan, I did. hey, what do you think about that? And they said no, or they said it's stupid, or can never work, or will piss off the other states. Why do I give a shit? We want to make impact, right? We want to get 5%, right? We want to be able to be real players so that we can actually do stuff, right? No, we want to worry about pissing off other states. Yeah. So no one else agreed to that plan. That is why I told people, if we don't peak Lars, I'm not running. Why would I run for VP and waste my time, money, and energy for nothing? For nothing. So this goes to why I did what I did in 2020 and 2024. I wasn't against them. When they came to New York, I supported them. I voted for both of them. When they came to New York, I did the fundraisers for them. I raised money for Joe Jorgensen. When Spike came, I supported him too. It's fine, right? Whatever. I'm there. I helped fill the room when there was an open area when Joe Jorgensen came. I helped fill was it like a porch or something? I forgot where we were. I helped fill that thing in Queens. I did it, right? I supported him when he came. But otherwise, what am I going to do? It's a waste of time. It's not going to work. It's just not going to work. So, and I knew that. So I was like, whatever. I didn't say anything. If you notice, I didn't say anything bad about either one of them when they were running. I said some things about Jorgensen after the run was over, but not during it. I shut my mouth, let her run her race, and I walked away. Whatever. I didn't badmouth Chase at all. Never. You can't find me say one bad word about Chase during that race, not one. Afterwards, I attacked his plan. I've never attacked him. His plan was garbage. And I said it publicly after the race. And before. I said it before when we were still going back and forth. But I just left it alone. So, absolutely. All righty. There we go. I can't tell if Scott's teasing me. He says, imagine raising 100 million and winning one state, 2 electoral votes, mission accomplished. If we actually raised $100 million, that becomes a winnable race. Like we could break the 271 mark with $100 million. Remember, we would take down $100 million, Scott, and only put it into a couple of specific places. So we'd be able to outgun our opponents because they're doing 50 states or certain states, or maybe even swing states. We'd be doing even non-swing states. Like we would throw it into Nebraska. With $100 million, yeah. With $100 million, we could take Hawaii, small state with one real big city. Delaware, small state, one big city, right? So that kind of stuff. Rhode Island, small state, one big city. We could take Wyoming, right? Small state, a couple of cities, but right. So we could do that kind of thing. We raised $100 million. If we really did, we could actually that's enough money to throw into the house, because the other guys wouldn't be able to spend enough money to defeat us in those specific arenas, because they're going to be spending money in Pennsylvania and Ohio and Michigan, and we're not going to touch those states. So it could actually work, right? We could do it with 100 million. We could. I think we can make impact with 10 million. Think about it. Gary Johnson got 3% with 11 million. I think in today's world, with technology, focusing the way I want to focus, I think 10 million, 15 million, we can get 5%. And get at least one electoral vote. At least one electoral vote and 5%, which gets us matching funds for the next cycle. What a home run that would be. What a home run that would be. So, yes. Oh, Scott's on board. He goes, I agree. Thank you, Scott. I appreciate it. And then Why Liberty says, great Cooley movie, 100 million. I know. I'd be amazing. I can't imagine us. That'd be awesome. Yeah. 100 million would easily carry Oklahoma. Yeah. Yes, that'd be a lot. I hope we can raise 100 million. That'd be amazing. I hope that happens. I hope in 2028, Massey runs, and I hope he wants me to be the VP, and I hope we raise $100 million. I'm in. From your mouth to God's ears. Let's do it. I am in. Yes, that'd be awesome. So, Evil's got a bunch of things he's saying. He goes, running for national office is exhausting. You need to make impact. You need 5%. Yes. You need not to waste people's money and time and emotions. Yes, which is why I only run when I think I can make impact. This is exhausting. This, for me, often is punishment. It is. Yes. I say that not for you to feel sorry for me. I don't care. I volunteered for this. So please don't feel sorry for me. It's not why I'm asking. I'm saying this so you know why so many people don't do it. It is punishment in many ways. It's a constant stream of insults, a constant stream of disrespect. It is constantly having to be on all the time. Everything I do is scrutinized. Everything, people are always mad at me for something, always. It's a pain in the ass. So yes. And what I don't want is, I'm sitting here, and you guys have noticed because I am running. I've asked you all for money. I've asked you all for time. I've asked you all for emotions. I've asked you for that stuff. Why? Because I'm giving it. And I'm only asking when I think I can actually get some impact. Now, in 2018, I busted my butt. I asked a lot from many of you, and we got impact. Great. 2022? No. We failed on that one. But it wasn't because I wasn't trying. It wasn't I didn't think we could. I thought we could. I wanted to. We just failed. Hopefully this time we won't. So there's the issue. Also, Evil says, Chase was another libertarian with more rhetoric than plans. We need plans. This is sadly often true. A lot of libertarians don't have plans. They think that because their rhetoric is so good, and some of them have great rhetoric, that's enough to save the day. Now, is it good to have good rhetoric? It is. I'm not mad at good rhetoric, and it's a great thing to have if you do. It's just not enough. It's just not enough. That's the issue. It's just not enough. So, yeah. All righty. I think I covered all of that. I covered all of those networks. There we go. Rick says 2024 LP didn't even have a plan for keeping ballot access, and also they got it. At least you have permanent in Missouri. Yeah, I know. Yeah. What too many libertarians don't understand is that biggest asset the party has is ballot access. The ballot access the party had and still has is worth at least $20 million. I'm not joking. That is why someone would come to the Libertarian Party. But because to get ballot access in 50 states, it will cost you at least $20 million. So that's the asset the LP has. And the more ballot access it gets, the bigger asset it has. Yes. So I wish more libertarians would get that. It's why I keep fighting for ballot access. Ballot access in New York State, just New York State, is worth over $1 million. How do I know that? Because RFK Jr. spent $1 million and couldn't get it. That means anyone else will have to spend more than $1 million. Well, Larry, why are you different? Because it's my third time and I'm currently polling at 9%. That's why. It's my third time and I'm currently polling at 9%. There is no one else in New York State that can say those two things. It's their third time and they're polling at 9%. I'm the only guy who can say that in the entire state. That's why I'm different. That makes me cool. Well, maybe not. Makes me different. Maybe not cool, but definitely different. So, yes. Ryan says 5-state strategy and get a few electoral votes would make a massive impact to the point where no 270 electoral vote is possible. Yeah, that's the point. Ryan, you get it. I hope that I have spoke and talked about this so much that people actually start paying attention and have learned. I hope they've actually learned this. I really do. I really do. Because I've been complaining about this for how long? 7 years? More? 9 years now. 2016. So 9 years. I've been complaining about this for back in those days, 2016. I thought the answer for Gary Johnson was New Mexico. For those of you who don't know, Gary Johnson used to be the governor of Mexico. So I thought we'll fight in Mexico. And at that point, I thought also Utah. Because Utah, in 2016, again, some of you may not know how it works. In Utah, a lot of Utah Republicans don't like Trump. A lot of Mormons don't like Trump. Not all, but a lot don't. So if you go to Utah, you can find Republicans who don't like Trump. So I thought, well, if we go Gary Johnson over there, he's got a shot at maybe getting enough, 35%, and then maybe winning Utah. That was my thought. And then, well, maybe if we spend money in New Mexico, he was the governor. People remember him. Great name recognition. We could throw enough money into there, and we could win New Mexico. So we could win 2 states and get ballot access, 5%. That was my thought process in 2016. only because of him. Now I wouldn't think those 2 states. I mean, maybe Utah, but I wouldn't think those 2 states now. But that was my thought process then. But I've been talking about it for a long time. Absolutely. Yes. Josh says, if Republicans in New York ran on your policies and ideas, could they win? No. And the reason why they couldn't win is they have the R by their name. And there are just so many Democrats who have been told that Republicans are evil for so many decades, they will not vote Republican. They just won't. Curtis Lewa has a Save Animals party line, and he's still in trouble. Who doesn't want to save the animals? Because he got an R. He's a Republican. That's a problem. I want to run on the Republican line, but not as a Republican, as a Libertarian, as a We the People Party, as an independent. Yes. Would they do better with my policies? Sure. But here's the problem. For the Republican Party to change New York State, an individual doesn't change. It's not enough for an individual to change. The whole party would have to change. The party right now is only about a couple of things, and that is more cops, Hochul bad. That's it. If one person talked about it, it'd be okay, but he'd be like the Mamdani of the Republicans, right? Mamdani struggling with the establishment. But could that guy win? Maybe, right? Look, if one Republican decided to basically be libertarian, is it possible they could win? Possible. But they'd have their own party against them, just like Mamdani does. Republicans fight me all the time. And I'm a better Republican than any of them are in this goddamn state. It's not even close. I'm actually about smaller government. None of them are. I'm actually about a Second Amendment. None of them are. None of them. I'm about localism. None of them are. I'm about cutting government back. None of them are. I'm about ending taxes. None of them are. So I'm better than they are. And still, they fight me. So it would all have to change, if that makes any sense. So, all right. All righty. Let me go down here some more if I can. Robert says, there are Cuomo supporters who are willing to work with Sliwa rather than rally behind the perceived progressives. Yeah, I think you're right. You've made a valid point. Mamdani is fighting against his own party because he doesn't have their policies. It's true. Yes. Brana says, I will say Gary Johnson was a horrible libertarian candidate. So runs Republican. Bake the cape. The nap goes on my head. No, you are wrong. I will defend Gary Johnson until death. That is a fight, a hill I will die on. He was a great candidate. Let me tell you why he was a great candidate. He was a great candidate for 2 reasons. Number one, he was the most popular guy and a unifying guy that we ever had. Okay, maybe not ever. Maybe Harry Brown was better, but I'm not even sure. Gary Johnson, in my time in the party, united the party more than anybody else. Not even close. Even the people who are hardcore libertarians were like, well, I'm just going to say nothing because he might get us 5%, whatever. Yeah, he had a bad bake the cake. So what? And he didn't even do it. He didn't even say that. What he actually said was his actual policy. I know because I was a surrogate in the press, which they smeared him. And who smeared him was other libertarians. Of course, other libertarians were the worst. His policy actually was, if you put your product into retail, then you have to give the person the cake. You don't have to bake the new cake. If you have it there. So if you have a cake on the shelf and a guy walks up and goes, hi, I have the swastika there, blah, blah, blah. And I want that cake. And you're a Jewish cake maker. His actual policy was, if he says, I want that cake that's on the shelf, you have to sell to him because you made it into the retail market knowing bad people may buy it. Now, if he then says, hey, put on there, I love the H-Man, you can say no. Now, to adjust the cake, you can say no. I want you to do this special, make a special cake that you can say no. He did say that. What he said was, if it's on the shelf, you must sell it to them. That was his actual policy. Now, that didn't come across well because libertarians had to just be edgelords and be like, throw everybody out of the thing and be anti-gay and whatever for no reason. So that's why it didn't work. But no, you are wrong. He was a great candidate. He absolutely kept us together better than anybody. And I don't give a shit if he couldn't do X, Y, and Z. Don't care. Don't care. He brought me in. He brought me in. He brought lots of people in. I will absolutely defend Gary Johnson unto death, no matter what. Yes. See? All right. See, I got more people behind me. You're wrong on this one. You're wrong on this one, Bronner. Gray says, Gary Johnson was likable. He was funny, smart, not caustic. He was the best we ever had for a national campaign. True. Rick says, I wanted Gary Johnson for years and was glad to vote for him twice. True. I would too. I'd vote for him again. Scott says, Gary Johnson turned me into a libertarian from the Green Party. I left the Green Party because of Jill Stein and joined because of Gary Johnson. Yep, and yep. Yes, 100%. I will always defend him. Always defend him. I don't care about that stupid bake the cake shit. First off, nobody cared about it anyway, except libertarians. If you're not a libertarian, you don't even know what bake the cake is. You don't even know. Nobody gave a shit about that. That stuff libertarians I want to get mad at somebody, so I'm going to find a reason to be mad at somebody. When you can get 3% of the national vote, when you can raise $11 million, when you can unite the party better than anybody, then you can open your mouth. I hope I could do that. I'm not saying I could do that. I hope I could do that. I hope I could achieve that. I hope I could make that happen. Mr. Matz says, Gary Johnson was the first libertarian I voted for. There we go. Andrea says, libertarians need to stop fighting. Yep, absolutely. Absolutely. Bronner says, hey guys, I actually like Gary Johnson, but if you can't understand the non-aggression principle, you're clearly not libertarian. How about you don't leave people alone? Good enough. Leave people alone. That works. You don't have to. Most people don't understand the non-aggression principle, which is the NAP, for those who don't know, because most of you don't know what that is. And I don't care. And I don't care. You don't have to understand it. I don't care. So, yes. All right. I have yapped away. I know I have. Guys, I'm asking you if you could please click the button known as like. It does matter. If you haven't shared this or reposted, please do so. Every bit does count. If you haven't subscribed to this page or followed it, please do so. Remember, tomorrow, 8 p.m. Sharpe Club. Next week, Sharpe Way shows only on Sharpe Way Properties, and the Gov Shack is back on Larry Sharpe Properties at 8 p.m. At 8 p.m., so we know this. Remember, the rules. Please comment after the live. And let me ask you, who do you blame more for the lockdowns? Do you blame Democrats, Republicans, Trump specifically? Who do you blame more for the shutdowns? Which of those three? Please let me know in the comments after the live. If you're watching this that's not live, do me a favor. You're going to see 2 videos pop up. Please watch one of them right away for about 8 minutes. The algorithm loves that. I'll see you all very soon. And on my way over to the Black Puddle podcast.